Right now, noon, a Wisconsin lawsuit decided by the federal Supreme Court. How the case involves religious charities and why it could open the doors for others. And we are just one day away from the American Family Insurance Championship. What's being teed up for the tournament in Madison? This is News 3 Now at noon. Thanks for joining us. I'm Josh Breiter. New at noon, a Wisconsin Supreme Court case has made it all the way to the Supreme Court. The decision states the Catholic Charities Bureau will not have to pay Wisconsin unemployment taxes. An initial lawsuit says an unemployment tax violates this First Amendment religious freedom guarantee. The state of Wisconsin argues that the charity group has paid tax for 50 years and does not qualify because its regular work did not involve religious teachings. The charity argues that the state should not make determinations on what work qualifies as religious. Some lawyers say this could open the door for big charities like religious hospitals to pull out of the state's unemployment system. Dane County's upcoming budget will fall short by $31 million. County leaders blame inflation, rising operating costs, and a lack of funding from the state, along with the uncertainty of federal funding. News 3 Now asked Dane County Executive Melissa Agard about this shortfall.
I wasn't here as the county executive to navigate my way through previous budgets. What I do know as the current county executive is that my community holds me to a high standard, and it is my job to be fiscally responsible with the tax dollars that are entrusted to us.
Agard says top priorities are emergency response, public health, human services, and environmental stability. The county is asking for departments to prepare for an across-the-board reduction of 4%. That would bring the shortfall down to roughly $15.5 million, or half the deficit. But for a local 911 operator, that reduction could cut staff and harm turnover.
It's a stressful position, mainly because of the work that we do. But I think that if there was more efforts into retention, we wouldn't be having to spend so much money on the turnover.
Agard tells us she hopes to avoid staff cuts, but knows there will be challenges. Well, the American Family Insurance Championship tees off tomorrow morning, and for the first time, it will be held at TPC Wisconsin on Madison's north side. The tournament will bring top PGA golf champions and Hall of Famers to town. The championship expects about 10,000 spectators each day during the three-day event. Officials say the tournament will deliver a strong economic boost across Madison.
When they book those room nights, they're not just staying in the hotels, but they're eating at the restaurants, they're shopping on State Street. They're providing a ton of economic strength for our community.
Since 2016, the AmFam Championship has generated over $100 million for the local economy. Well, time for a first look at your forecast now. Meteorologist Blaze Keller is out on the weather patio in Madison, and thank goodness that smoke is starting to get out of here.
Yes, the smoke is definitely moving on out of here. I'm looking at the sky, and it's a little bit more blue than yesterday. Still dealing with a little bit of that smoke overhead. The good news is that air quality alert that was extended through noon today has been allowed to expire as we sit underneath generally moderate air quality. Not great, but certainly not unhealthy for some folks. That's going to be closer to Lake Michigan, where they even have unhealthy air into parts of Michigan and Indiana. We're dealing still with a little bit of some thicker smoke. That plume there is generally moving off towards the southeast very slowly. It is going to disperse a little bit, so become less thick in smoke, but winds are going to turn off the east, and that means that it's actually going to be pushing back into parts of central and western parts of Wisconsin. But again, the good news is it's not going to be as thick as we go overnight into Friday. Temperatures are sitting in the 70s and nearing 80s in Dane County, and that's really the story across all of southern Wisconsin in those mid to upper 70s. Still holding on to 72, though, in Mineral Point, 74 in Monroe, a comfortable 74 in Viroqua. So, Josh, coming up in the full forecast, we're going to talk about how rain is actually going to move on in, and that could impact the upcoming AmFam Championship. That rain is expected to stick around through at least the whole weekend. We'll take a look at Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday's chances, which days you're definitely going to need that umbrella, and talk about what the air quality will be like tomorrow. That's coming up in the full forecast. And right, I'll have a helper.
Oh, there you go. I know, it's Thursday. You got a couple of them today. Thank you, Blaze. Well, starting today, UW Whitewater is hosting the 2025 Special Olympics Wisconsin Summer Games. More than 1,200 athletes are set to compete. They represent 100 local programs across the state. This will be the third consecutive games hosted there. The parade of athletes and opening ceremony is tonight at 6:30. The games will go until Saturday. Still ahead for us this afternoon, what U.S. state Amazon is betting big on, plus why the Department of Agriculture is urging you to check the ground beef in your fridge or freezer.
You're watching News 3 Now at noon. Moving forward.
Amazon is betting big on North Carolina, announcing a $10 billion investment there to expand its cloud computing and artificial intelligence infrastructure. The tech giant claims the move will also create at least 500 jobs. In addition to the data centers, Amazon says it will invest in bringing STEM training and education programs to the local communities. The Department of Agriculture is urging Americans to check the ground beef in their fridge or freezer. It's warning that some 1-pound packages of organic rancher ground beef could be contaminated with the deadly bacteria E. coli. The meat was sold at Whole Foods locations nationwide. The alert impacts products with use or freeze-by dates of June 19th and 20th. And gamers lined up around the world and in the U.S. yesterday for today's highly anticipated release of the new Nintendo Switch 2. The next-generation console is lighter and quieter than its predecessor and more powerful with enhanced AI features. Nintendo predicts it will sell 15 million Switch 2 consoles by next spring, with a price tag starting around $450. Nintendo first debuted the Switch back in 2017. That's your CBS News Money Watch report. For more, log on to cbsmoneywatch.com. At the CBS Broadcast Center, I'm Jesse Mitchell.
Here's a look at the stock market right now. Numbers are slightly down this afternoon. The Dow's down 11 points, Nasdaq down 51, and the S&P 500 is down 11. On the Health Watch at noon, the COVID pandemic took a toll on the fitness of children. A study published in JAMA found students across the U.S. performed worse on physical fitness tests during the pandemic. They were also much less likely to be in the healthy fitness zone for cardio, respiratory, and musculoskeletal fitness. The good news, fitness levels have risen since the pandemic ended. Your dog could be helping protect your child's skin. A study by the University of Edinburgh found that children who were at risk for eczema were less likely to develop the condition if they owned a dog. It's believed exposure to dogs early in life could help suppress skin inflammation, but experts caution that in some cases exposure to dogs can worsen the condition. Pam has the Farm Report next, and Blaze returns with the firstborn forecast, and later on Live at 4, political analyst Brandon Scholes talks more about what's next with our state budget. Welcome back. Let's check in now with Pam Yankee for the Midwest Farm Report. Pam, it's nice to see some blue skies finally outside for the first time in days.
I'm glad that Blaze said that smoke's kind of dissipating. It makes you a little goofy. It's like, wait a minute. Is it me? Is it my eyes? Do I need to clean my windshield? I don't know what's going on. Just enough of a haze, but let it be gone. For people like me that have asthma, it's not something we need to contend with on an otherwise beautiful day. It was a beautiful day earlier this week. One of my assistants, Stephanie Hoff, made the trip down to Chicago. The conversation was about biodiesel. The Clean Fuels Alliance wanted to highlight some of the work that's being done with the Windy City and their parks area to use 100% biodiesel in running a lot of their machines, lawnmowers, beach rakers, truckers, the tree trimmers, all of it's operating on 100% biodiesel. They say that's given them an 86% reduction in carbon emissions. On a day like this, when we're talking about air quality, just stop and think about that. 86% reduction in emissions just using a locally grown U.S. product like biodiesel. And that's the other thing that they're focused in on. As we talk about tariffs and uncertainty around the world, the biodiesel that they're using in Chicago is grown and processed just down the road. The other thing that I thought was interesting is the Chicago Park District is now estimating their investment in biodiesel is saving everybody about $67,000 a year in health care costs by improving the air quality with biodiesel. Interesting conversation. Clean Fuels Alliance helping us to find those folks that are in charge of Chicago's Park District. Well, markets today are paying attention to what's going on not only locally but globally. I was talking this morning with one of my commodity brokers following this beef market. It is crazy, and any Wisconsin farmer knows if you've got a culled cow that goes on the truck or a baby calf, they're bringing crazy money. Some heifers that are about ready to give birth. Down in the southeast, we're bringing over $4,000 an individual animal. What we're seeing is more and more dairy farms are thinking about sending those animals out for beef versus bringing them in for milk production. That means by the time we get to fall, we could see milk production across the United States constrict. We'll have to wait and see, but it's a story I'm following. We're following the dairy markets for you today. Now, remember, I told you barrel cheese is no longer relevant as far as milk checks are concerned, but they're still moving it around. Up 1 3/4 pennies today at $1.86. 40-pound block cheese down 1 3/4 pennies at $1.92. Double A butter down just a fraction, losing 1/4 cent, $2.55 3/4 per pound. But yeah, not a bad day to be out on the water in downtown Chicago, learning about how they're fueling all of the machinery you see to keep up their parks down there.
That's
Haven't been down there
fascinating.
for a while. It makes me think about how pretty it can be if you can see it.
Yeah, when the weather is good, right? Because we know when it's
When the
not,
weather is good.
it can be a whole different story.
And the day that the traffic isn't bad,
Yep. That's why I stay away from the Windy City, because of that reason.
me too. All right, buddy. See you later.
All right, Pam, see ya. Time now for your certified most accurate forecast. Meteorologist Blaze Keller has the first warn forecast with a special guest because it's Thursday. Who do you have there, Blaze?
This is Cashew. She's only 2 months old, so this is Cashew, and we're going to meet her brother Pecan in just a minute. But she's going to help me do the weather. She's so fluffy. She's so cute. She did tinkle on my leg when we were playing out in the lobby, but I hope she doesn't do that now. We are still going to be hazy today. You may notice that there's a little bit more blue in the atmosphere, but we're still dealing with those hazy conditions as the last of the smoke kind of moves on out of here. We're also looking at the chance for some rain beginning tonight, and that's going to continue really into your Friday, Saturday, and then further into Sunday. A little low pressure system is actually going to scoot through here Saturday into Sunday, so I think the best chance for rain is actually going to be Saturday and Sunday. There's a look at that smoke, the greens and the yellows indicating more of that thicker smoke through the entire atmosphere, not just necessarily closer to the surface. Cashew. So that smoke is going to eventually move its way east, back westward actually, and kind of stick around the Mississippi River Valley as we go into Friday. But keep in mind, we're going to be dealing with cloud cover. We're also going to be maybe squeezing out a few showers as well. This is our little system that will move through, but the more organized system, and it's not that much more organized. It's going to move out of the, I would say, plains area starting later Saturday, and that's going to help bring in those shower and thunderstorm chances as we head into Saturday and Sunday. Air quality forecast for your day on Friday. Cashew, it's looking moderate, so not too bad if you want to go outside. Again, we're going to be adding a little bit more cloud cover, so it's not going to be as sunny, but it is still going to be at least a little bit better breathing-wise outside as that smoke continues to kind of dissipate through the entire atmosphere, or at least get spread out. Over the last few days, it really hasn't been allowed to move either upwards or east or west throughout the atmosphere. That's the reason why we had the air quality alerts. So Cashew's noting that we're going to be dealing with some rain as we head into Friday, Saturday, really peaking there Sunday into Monday of next week. Again, that's that little system that moves through, pulls a little bit more moisture off of Lake Michigan as it scoots through the Midwest. Cloud cover is going to continue to increase as we go throughout the day. So by overnight, hold on there, little missy. We're going to be squeezing out a few showers as we go into the start of Friday, but most of us should stay dry. The shower chances return as we end Friday and go into Saturday. That's when our next system moves on through and brings us that better chance for more widespread showers and thunderstorms, not only Saturday beginning in the mid to late afternoon, but overnight Saturday into Sunday as well. You're noticing more green as we go into the start of your Sunday. So that is Future Track pointing out that this next system is pulling down a little bit more moisture. But in terms of rain totals, we're only looking at a couple tenths of an inch to maybe a quarter of an inch of rain. So again, if you're going to be heading out to AmFam, just take the umbrella. You can take the First Warn Weather app with you. And of course, if there's ever any lightning, make sure that you head indoors, because when thunder roars, head indoors. Today we're heading into the 70s if we're not there already, maybe a few low 80s as well. And Josh and folks at home, there's a look at that 7 and 10 day forecast. After the rain wraps up on Monday of next week, we're going to maybe flirt with the 80s by the middle of our following work week.
I got to be honest, I was distracted that whole time watching.
She's so cute, and she didn't tinkle on me,
There
so
you go.
that is some good news.
That's some good news. There's still some time though, Blaze.
Day is still young.
Thank you. Now let's see what's happening in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
If you have a vegetable garden, you know there's nothing better than a homegrown tomato or freshly picked peppers. Now, I don't have a garden, but the next best thing is having a neighbor who does. So what I do is make him some homemade dressings. It's my way of thanking him for sharing his bounty with me. So let me show you how easy these are. For my famous creamy Italian dressing, all I do is put some mayo, vegetable oil, white vinegar, a squeeze of lemon juice, a bit of Parmesan, a touch of sugar, of course some fresh garlic and Italian seasoning, and last but not least, a little salt. We put that in a blender and give it a whirl. Besides the fresh taste, the big difference between this and most of the bottled dressings that you get in the market is that we can pronounce everything that's in this one. And since variety is the spice of life, I usually like to make a couple of different varieties, so there's something for everyone. As a matter of fact, if you want the recipe for my famous creamy Italian dressing, our zesty Greek-style dressing, and everyone's favorite, our creamy honey mustard dressing, you gotta go online. And while you're there, make sure you check out our entire collection of homemade dressings. I'm Howard from the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a fresher way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
After the break, we're going to introduce you to our Pets of the Week from the Dane County Humane Society. Time for Potentially Yours here on a Thursday afternoon. Lisa Bernard from the Dane County Humane Society is here with not one, but two special guests. We got our hands full today.
We do, with some very energetic babies that you're going to go nuts over.
Oh my gosh. All right,
So,
who are they?
This is Cassie over here by me, and then that is Pecan over between you and Blaze.
Oh my gosh.
So they arrived last week from an overcrowded shelter in Alabama. They are about 2 months old.
Okay.
They're looking for separate families. As you can see, they're very social, love people, love to even snuggle, hang out, play.
She was great.
Yeah.
Sitting in my arms,
so
and he's
calm.
been very playful with everybody he's met.
Yes, yes, and they just are having a blast here meeting everyone.
They've been all over the place. The newsroom's loving them.
Yes, and I think soon they're going to want a nap. Obviously, because they're babies, they have lots to learn still, like what's not an appropriate thing to chew on. And they're teething, but they haven't been too bad.
But that's the nice thing. I mean, as a puppy, you get to train them into what you want.
Exactly.
As a pet, so.
Exactly. So, and using lots of treats to help make it a positive experience.
Who doesn't want a treat?
Who doesn't? Like, of course. But they're so adorable. They do have a brother who's also at the shelter. His name is Walnut.
Oh.
He too is looking for a new home.
Just a little bag of nuts.
They are from a litter of 4. One did get adopted so far. So come and adopt them. They're so adorable.
When they
So
drove
much fun.
over, you said that they were just the most pleasant.
So quiet.
Yes.
So quiet.
I haven't really heard them. They were playing and one, they got a little frisky, but I haven't heard them really like bark or do anything. They're just little explorers out in the world. Oh, they're so
busybodies. They'll keep you busy too, keep you occupied.
Exactly. And she is a little more timid, I think, because when she goes to explore, she's further to the ground, even though she's shorter than him. She does go a little further to the ground. So just building up that confidence too.
There you go.
Oh, they're so cute.
Well, thank you, Lisa. We're going to find them a home.
I can hear the calls coming
100%. 100%. Well, hey, here's something to mark your calendars for. On Wednesday, June 11th, between 11 and 10, Red Robin in Monona will donate 20% of eligible dine-in and carry-out orders to Dane County Humane Society. For dine-in, simply mention DCHS to your server. For online orders, you must add the fundraiser to your cart before checkout. Just enjoy that tasty meal and help animals in need. Hey, an update on Hank, the guinea pig feature last week, still available for adoption. So if you're interested in adopting Cashew, Pecan, or Hank, or check checking out the other animals at Dane County Humane Society, just go to giveshelter.org. And here's Blaze with the final check of the forecast. Hard to follow up after that.
I know, Hank, these two adorable puppies. Well, I'll keep it short and brief so that we can see these puppies one more time. We're going to be watching as clouds increase today. The smoke is going to stick around, I would say, through at least Friday, but we're going to add some rain chances there. AmFam weekend right around the corner, and we do look like we're going to be squeezing out a few showers and thunderstorms, not all day, not widespread, but definitely better chances as we head further into Saturday and then continuing overnight into Sunday. So take the First Warn Weather app with you. Of course, remember, if thunder roars, head indoors, but temperatures stay pretty nice in the 70s, and it looks like we might get back into the 80s as we head into the middle of next week. You're going to bite off my little finger. He's cute.
Yeah, it's you, not my tie, so.
Or these buttons.
That's true.
He's just teething, and I'm just helping him along the process.
Oh, we're going to find him a home.
We should get him a toy.
Yes, we should. Thanks for watching News 3 Now at noon. Coming up next is The Bold and the Beautiful. Our next newscast is coming up at 4. You can always find us streaming 24/7 on Channel 3000 Plus. Tough day on the job here.
I know.